Welcome back to Ask Allison. Here is today's question. I'm starting a part-time private practice while working full-time. What are the top 3 things I need to know so that I can build quickly and quit my job? So first, before I answer this, I want to thank TherapyNotes for sponsoring Ask Allison. It is an all-inclusive, simple, affordable practice management system that covers everything you need for your practice, from your calendar to video conferencing that you don't have to pay extra for, the lowest HIPAA compliant credit card processing rate, space for your charts, all that action. So TherapyNotes also follows the golden thread, which allows us to not have to enter things every single time that we're filling out a note. Things just plop back in that are consistent. It's also the highest rated EHR on Trustpilot with 1,000, I think, positive reviews that are verified. You can check them out and sign up for 2 free months if you use the promo code ABUNDANT at checkout. That's at therapynotes.com, and the promo code's ABUNDANT. All right, so to answer this question, first, I want you to know that if you are in that process of starting a private practice on the side and you're also working full-time, you're in great company if you're exhausted. Most of us who have done both those things have been exhausted while we do it, and also excited at the same time. So the first thing I want you to do is actually not going to count towards those 3 things that I am going to answer your question, I swear. So getting clients in your door, it sounds like, is your priority. So I'm going to give you your 3 things, but I'm also going to give you a 4th, which is, first, I want you to do the math to figure out how many private practice clients you need to replace your agency income. We're going to link to a free worksheet that's going to help you figure that out. That way, you know when it's time to quit your job, because if we don't have a plan for this and we haven't done the math for it, sometimes we stay in that full-time job a lot longer than we needed to. And we also get very used to our increased income from having 2 jobs. So I want to protect against that. All right, so here's the answer to your question. The 3 things that are going to help you build the fastest. First, choose a niche. A niche always includes your client's complaint. It's never just your modality. It's never just their demographics. So your niche is not EMDR or millennial women, right? It's also really important that what your client thinks is their issue when they're calling you or emailing you for the first time is what you're talking about. Let's say your ideal client is a 30-year-old woman with a history of trauma. She may experience anxiety as her primary reason for seeking therapy, not trauma. So you may use EMDR. The vast majority of the time, though, your clients just want to feel better. They aren't really attached to your modality. I don't want you to hide it, but I want you to talk a lot more about your ideal client's specific pain points than your interests, your experience, what you're passionate about, your style, all that. So in choosing your niche, I'm just going to recap this point of it because it's so important. Your niche is about how they identify what's bringing them into therapy. If you know the underlying issue for them is emotional neglect by their parents, but they have never thought through that, they just know that they're anxious people pleasers, I want you to niche towards anxious people pleasers. Tell the other professionals, oh yeah, I love working with anxious people pleasers who have some emotional neglect in their history, but might not recognize it. But if you put it out there, I work with people who were neglected in childhood, your ideal client might not recognize herself. All right, so that's number 1. Number 2, create a website that very clearly speaks to the niche that you've selected. You may be tempted to cast a wide net, not really be super specific in your website, but trust me that is going to slow your growth. The more specific you are about who you serve on your website, the more likely that client that you do great work with is going to call. When we look for therapists, as you might have experienced in looking for your own therapist, we often feel our pain is very specific and very special. When I was looking for a therapist for PPD, I didn't feel compelled to call the people that listed multiple specialties with like PPD somewhere in the mix. Right? If you tell me you work with depression, anxiety, perinatal mood disorders, eating disorders, substance abuse, and bipolar disorder, I don't feel like you're great at any of that. I just feel like you listed a bunch of things that you're moderately trained in or maybe minimally trained in. But when I found a therapist that spoke very specifically and exclusively about perinatal mood disorders, I knew I could trust her. Her experience and her expertise felt very clear to me because she wasn't putting a bunch of stuff. So remember that you don't need 1,000 clients to call you right now. You only need a couple dozen or less to be full. So, and you need even fewer than that to replace your agency or job income. Sadly, when you do that math, you're probably going to be a little bit like, oh, that's it. I've been working how many hours and I could work how many fewer? So all that to say, your website needs to be so specific. The design needs to be clean and not look like it came from like 1998. And you need to have images of yourself and images of people who look like your ideal clients, not the supermodel version, not the cheesy version, people that look like your clients. All right. The number 3 thing, network. I know that when I talk about networking, most people want to run the other way, but I promise you it's because they have the wrong idea about what networking is like. When it's done like right, and there is a right way to do networking. I don't normally think about rights and wrongs in the world, but there is a clear right way to do networking. It's fun. It's not cheesy. It's not salesy. I want you to be strategic about who you network with because you are shorter on time than somebody who doesn't have a full-time job. So think about who your ideal client goes to when they decide it's time to pursue therapy. Do they go to their PCP? Is it their mom's group? Is it a school counselor? Is it a trusted yoga instructor? Think through your ideal client and who they go to first. Who's that intermediary? Who tells them about you? Or someone else who tells them about someone else. Build relationships with the people that your clients are likely to go to first. Do not be shy about reaching out to other therapists who share your niche. I promise you, those of us who are full and need to refer people daily, we need to know that you have availability. It thrills me when I get to meet a new therapist who is good at what they do. And I now know I can help them fill their practice by giving them my extra referrals because a lot of the people I've been referring to for an extended period of time are full now. So I always say no more than 5 marketing strategies. I just gave you 2. Niching, I would not call a marketing strategy. I would just call it like a thing that has to happen. It's not an action as much as like networking is an action and building a website is an action. You probably need somewhere between 3 more at most strategies in order to get full. We walk you through that in the Abundance Party, how to choose. There are so many options. So we walk through how to choose what's going to be the best fit for you and your clients. And then we teach you how to do them so that that yields results. We teach you how to network the right way. We teach you how to build a website that actually speaks to your clients. That is $49 a month. It's a fraction of the cost of one session. So if you aren't ready for that, if you're still in kind of the exploratory phase, I'm going to encourage you to go to our free training, which is how to fill your practice without being salesy or spending money you don't have. I'm going to link to both of those to make it easy for you. I'm also going to link to that free worksheet that I mentioned that's going to help you figure out how much money or how many clients you need to have in private practice to replace the money you're bringing in from your job. Yeah, that's it today. I hope you all have a really good day. If you have questions for Ask Allison, find me over on Instagram and DM me. I'm abundance_practice_building.